So my name is Quezada.
And my name is Anna Cobar.
And our main focus on today's presentation is Latinos' rights being taken away through the use of the death penalty. We found two articles that described the case of a Latino being executed by the government with the use of the death penalty. Both men happen to come from Texas. In the first article, it shows a man that was killed recently, and the second article that was with a man that was killed in 1983. It shows that this is coming back and it must be stopped. Latinos cannot continue being killed unjustly through the use of it.
In class, we have read and discussed how Latinos are having less education because of not being able to afford college or anything, so they don't get a degree. And now it's really hard to get a job if you don't have a degree. So without a job, you would end up in the street.
In Texas executes Mexican man for murder. We found this in the New York Times. Was by a man named Edgar Tamayo, who was arrested in Houston in 1994 on murder charges. He was sent to trial in the World Court since it was an international law known as the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. But Texas officials disregarded the international court's order, so they condemned him to the death penalty. Afterwards, it was known that the authorities neglected him the rights under the Vienna Convention to notify Mexican diplomats. Mr. Tamayo was the third Mexican citizen that Texas had executed whose case was part of the World Court's order. He has been one of 3 illegal executions to Mexicans. And this was a little brief summary of one of 2 articles that we were doing.
The second article, The Ron Carlos, How Texas Sent an Innocent Man to His Death, talks about a case that was reopened from 20 years ago. A man who was executed when he was actually innocent. A case was brought back by Reese to clear his name. This case is about Carlos de la Luna, who was arrested in 1979, accused of murder of a young woman. 2 months before the Luna's death, Hernandez was sentenced with 10 years of prison, and yet again this was not presented to the court. This case was unjust because he wasn't given a fair trial. They did no physical attributes to see if he was really the murderer.
So as you can see, the Guardian showed a more vast explanation of what really happened in the case, not like the Times where it was more short and to the point. What you think?
Well, I agree. The Guardian had more information than the New York Times, but they both concluded on the main topic.
Yeah, and we both think that it was wrong for these 2 gentlemen to be killed.
The Guardian didn't have proper information,
Yeah.
and the New York Times was hide the truth from Tamayo.
Yeah. And we selected this topic because we believe everyone should know what really is going on in the U.S., especially in the Northeast, where we barely even know what's going on down south. We have to be more aware of the issues of what's going on. And the wrongly use of the death penalty. It is not humane to be able to take the life of another man. It's barbaric. So we want our viewers to take a stand to this and notice the unjust use of the death penalty.
We don't support capital punishment because it's being used unjust. It is basically the easy way out to get rid of people, like those 2 men.
Yeah.
They didn't have the chance to be proper, to prove innocent. We both agree with the reporting of the issue because the article showed that the men were innocent and they were ruling unfair.
The last thing we want you to take out of this is that the lack of education can lead you to prison. It seems extreme, but that's the problem Latinos are really